So it's time now for Campaign Chronicles, our daily look at the French presidential race. The main candidates have officially suspended their campaigns, of course, because of the tragedy in Toulouse. But with just over 4 weeks to go, the election is on everyone's mind. Some candidates have already been accused of trying to get political profit out of this, especially the far-right candidate, Marine Le Pen. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by Benjamin Abtan from SOS Racism. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us today. Also, Elena Casas is here, our press reviewer. Elena, how have you, how have the media, if you like, judged the way that politicians have reacted to this so far?
Well, let's start with President Nicolas Sarkozy. He's got some quite good press out of this, even in Libération, a paper that normally has nothing good to say about him. In today's editorial, they actually say he couldn't have played this better, that he's been dignified, he's been presidential, he's focused on national unity and solidarity and bringing people together. So he, of course, is very keen to make it clear that he's not trying to get any political profit out of it. He doesn't want the socialists to be able to accuse him of doing that, so he's being as neutral as possible. Some of his supporters, though, have already seen the kind of political opportunity in here. On the right-wing paper, Le Figaro, their editorial is quite strongly worded against the socialists. They say they should take this as a wake-up call, and they accuse the left of having long indulged Islamic fundamentalists. Now, they point to things like the socialist Martine Aubry allowing men and women to have separate opening times in swimming pools in Lille, where she is mayor, as evidence of that. There might seem quite a long link between that and an Islamic fundamentalist killing 7 Jews, but for the paper, it's a wake-up call for the left that they've taken Islam not seriously enough for too long. So you can see exactly there newspapers that support Sarkozy trying to work out how this can be used to support his record on security issues.
And do you think this is a turning point in the presidential campaign? Are the papers talking about that?
Well, Le Figaro certainly thinks so, and I think they're probably right. The subjects that we're talking about in this campaign are going to change now. It will be security and immigration who now become the dominant subjects of this campaign, if you like. Le Parisien points out today that for every candidate there's going to be a before and after Toulouse. The way that they campaign is going to have to change. Now, this presents a problem, of course, for François Hollande and the socialists, because it's kind of difficult for him to work out how to campaign here. The papers say he's fallen into Nicolas Sarkozy's trap. He's trying to be as neutral and dignified and presidential as possible and not say anything too partisan about this. The problem, though, is that he's kind of leaving a blank space there. He's not jumped on this quickly enough, and whereas the right really have, Jean-François Copé, for example, head of the UMP party, has used an interview in today's Le Figaro, again to point the finger at the socialists, saying that they've long said the fear of Islamic fundamentalism in France wasn't real, and now it looks like they were wrong.
What about Sarkozy himself, though? I mean, so far he seems to have avoided making any really strong political comments, hasn't he?
Exactly. Libération say he's using this opportunity to look down on everyone from above, that he's the president, he's going to take this presidential role and he's going to leave it to far-right candidates like Marine Le Pen to make very obvious political hay out of this kind of thing. She effectively, the newspaper says, is doing a tour of TV and radio sets across France, doing her best to say, I told you so. I long said that Islamic fundamentalists were a fear, and now look, it seems to have come true. Now, Libération say they've long been worried about the dialogue to do with race and religion in this campaign. They say lots of statements by Marine Le Pen, by Nicolas Sarkozy, by Interior Minister Claude Guéant have been too Islamophobic in nature, that they could have radicalised a man like this. They could have made him feel more excluded, more persecuted by French society. They could have brought him to do this. They would like to see that kind of dialogue toned down in the campaign now because of this, but they fear the opposite could happen, that indeed we could see more Islamophobic statements. I'm going to bring in here Benjamin Abtan from SOS Racism and put that question to you. Are you worried that this will see more Islamophobic or anti-immigrant statements from candidates now, especially Marine Le Pen?
Well, it is sure that this shooting put France into a great choice between two perspectives. The first perspective is that of the terrorist and that of Marine Le Pen, saying that all Muslims are Islamists, all Muslims are terrorists, and we have a civil war to fight, and could end up only with the exclusion or the killing of one or the other of the camp. And the other perspective is that, which was shown to us by the society, the Norwegian society, like in Oslo after the killing in Utøya, the whole society all together saying that we want to stick to the democratic values, and we want to say that we want to change radically the frame of mind, the political speeches. And these are two perspectives. These two perspectives means that there is a very great, important political fight, and we are fighting with a lot of associations, of student unions, to stick to the second perspective, to say that we are pro-democracy, and we don't want to say that there is a European civil war. There is a battle, a great fight for democracy or against, and we are going to have a great march this Sunday to say with all citizens from various backgrounds that we are pro-democracy.
It feels like there's no way, though, to stop Marine Le Pen kind of benefiting them from this, though, do you think?
Well, she's going to play on that. She's already saying that Islamists are Muslims and that all people from Muslim or Arab background are kind of potential terrorists. She's playing on fear. She's been playing on fear for years. She's going to go on playing on fears, and she wants to stigmatize this part of the French population. We are not going to let her into that. We are going to keep saying that it is this frame of mind of a spirit of the European civil war between Muslim and non-Muslim in France also that produces violence, that produces exclusion, that produces murders in France and elsewhere. And we are not going to get into this frame of mind of the terrorist which shares this frame of mind with Marine Le Pen. For us, we are only citizens. We fight for equality. We fight against extremism. We fight against terrorism. We fight against racism. So we fight against this terrorist and Marine Le Pen, and we fight for democracy.
How do you think... Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, politicians on the left haven't really made your cause very clearly, have they? François Hollande seems to be failing, really, to step up to the issue here. He hasn't really attacked Le Pen directly. What do you think about that? How should he be reacting?
Well, we organized the first protestation on Monday evening, and the whole political class was represented there. There was a center, some people from the right, some people from the left. So there is a first step of national consensus. Our objective and our wish is that it's not only 1 or 2 days with emotion on the news, but it is it shows that it should be a great change in the general frame of mind for this election, of course, but also much more than that. Exactly like it was the case for the Norwegian society after the killing of Oslo. Not change just some speeches in the electoral campaign, but altogether, the whole society altogether, with all the associations and the political leaders, to say that we want to change the frame of mind, no more stigmatization, no more hatred. We want to stick to democratic values, and so far, during some days, it has been the case. Our hope it is that it's not going to be only for 2 days, but on the long term.
And finally, I mean, your organisation did react quite quickly to the shooting, didn't it, by condemning some of the language used by presidential candidates when the talk was of a right-wing extremist. I mean, do you think you perhaps reacted a little bit quickly to the initial incident?
Not at all. We reacted very quickly because there is an atmosphere of stigmatization, there is an atmosphere of hatred, and the frame of mind of the killer is a frame of mind of a racist and a far-right Islamist. It's not a far-right nationalist, it's a far-right Islamist, but they are both far-rights. For them, they fight against democracy, they fight against the right of the woman, they fight against equality between all the citizens. They are racist, both of them, and the only difference between the ones and the others is that they want to kill each other, but we want to have a society which makes no difference between the citizens because of their background or religious or beliefs.
Benjamin Abtam from SOS Racism, thank you very much for coming in, talking to us today here on France 24. Thanks to Elena, of course, as well. Campaign Chronicles back, of course, at the same time tomorrow here on France 24. And the latest news coming up with Jessica this morning. She'll be here after the break. Stay with us if you can.
Al-Qasaya, in the region of Homs, a bastion of the Syrian resistance. To dodge shells and snipers, the people lie low. With each attack, the wounded flood into secret, makeshift clinics. Short of ammunition and outgunned, the soldiers of the Syrian Free Army don't know how much longer they'll manage to hold out. A France 24 team takes you inside Al-Qasaya to the struggling resistance. Reporters, today, 9:45 p.m. Paris time, on France 24.